Hey guys, I have a question for you. Have you ever had your therapist come into your house, look at your child's ABA binder, and have them say, "Wow, your child's doing really great"? And you're like, "No, they're not. You don't even know what happened last night during the bedtime routine. In the grocery store, we had this massive tantrum. How can you be thinking he's doing good?" And the reality is that they're listening to their therapist in an ABA session, but they're not listening to you. Well, I want you to know that if this is happening to you, you are not the only one. This is actually pretty common. The good news is there's a few steps you can follow with your therapist to transfer compliance from the therapist to you, and it works every time. This is a researched and proven method. So here's the thing. Oftentimes parents don't participate in ABA sessions. Now, generally speaking, they have to be home unless you're in a clinic or you're in school. So parents see what's going on, but they don't actively participate. And even if they're in the room, they aren't delivering the SDs, meaning the commands, and they're not delivering the reinforcers. So what it winds up happening is that the child is establishing compliance and rapport, or in technical terms, your child's behaviors under SD control or instructional control with a therapist, but not with a parent. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to have your therapist you're going to make your therapist let you participate in the therapy sessions in a very, very active and very systematic way. Now, your therapist might have their own protocol for this, but here's my protocol. If your therapist doesn't have a protocol, feel free to share this with them. And I'm going to be talking in a little bit more technical terms than I usually do, just so you have the right language to speak to your therapist, but I'll also make it really clear and explain to you what I mean. So the number one thing you're going to do, you're going to tell your therapist, okay, here's the thing. I don't want to take away from my child's therapy session, but he's not generalizing compliance. So here's what I want to do. I want to do the maintenance portion of the therapy. So here's what's going to happen. I don't necessarily know how to, do the reinforcers, and I'm like trying to hold my phone here. Here we go. I don't know how to necessarily deliver the reinforcement appropriately, but tell me what to say, what instructions to give my child. Let me give the instruction. For now, you can deliver the reinforcement or use the error correction procedures if your child doesn't respond correctly. Let your therapist handle that portion of it, but give you the instruction. So for example, if your child's working on a puzzle and they won't do the puzzle for you at home, but they've mastered in their therapy, have your therapist have you tell the child, okay, do your puzzle. And this works for anything: tying shoes, answering questions, what's your name, where do you live, colors, matching flashcards. It could be anything your child's mastered. It's really important you're going to start off with just things that your child has mastered. So, and again, initially you're going to let your therapist do the correction or the reinforcement procedures just because you may not be aware to do it. So now you're going to be watching your therapist do that. So the second step is that you're going to be doing the whole thing. You're going to be delivering the SD, delivering the instruction, the command, and then you're also going to be delivering the reinforcer, or you're going to be correcting it. And your therapist is going to have now modeled this for you, and you will have learned how to do it. So that's the second step. So the third step would be that you're going to be working on their child's easiest program targets. Now you can go back to number one, like you're just delivering the instructions and not the reinforcement or correction, or you can do both depending upon your level of comfort. But you're going to be doing the things your child is learning, but the things that are the easiest, the things that your child is the highest probability of being successful with you with. So that's going to be the next thing you're going to do. Now, again, you're going to be building up this compliance. So the fourth thing you're going to be doing is, once you have all that done, you're going to be doing basically all of the therapy sessions. So you might start off with doing just 10, 15 minutes, and then you might be doing an hour or 2 hours. And again, you may not have time for all of that, but the most important thing is that you're spending as much time as possible. So your therapist is in the room, but they're pairing, or that's compliance with you. So you're there as well. So that reinforcement is going to be transferred to you. The next thing you're going to do, the last step you're going to do, step number 5, is you're going to be going into the community, and you're going to be doing everyday activities with your therapist there. And you're going to be setting up situations where your child can use the skills that you've now taught them in therapy, that you've actively been involved with teaching them. This is going to make sure that they can use the skills that you've taught in a really successful way, and that when your therapist leaves, that your child is still successful with you. Now, this is a process. It takes a while to do this, but it does work every single time. It's one that I build into every single program when I have a child who has an issue with compliance, or an issue with generalizing skills even if it's just as simple as like some kids learn to do things in one context, but can't necessarily do it in another context. I will do this for them, and I will do this for kids that are, don't necessarily comply all the time with the parents. The only time I wouldn't do this is if a child generalizes naturally and easily and they're very compliant, but the truth is that's not the case for most kids. So I really, really, really hope that you found this helpful. Now, I want to offer you a free gift. Now, there is a book I put out. It is called School with Autism. If your child is not doing as well in school, or let's say they're doing really well in school and they're not doing well at home, kind of like this video was about, this is going to give you the questions to ask your teachers and some strategies to make sure your child's successful. You have to download it. You have to go to the website to download it. You're not going to find it anywhere else, but it is free. So you can go to schoolwithautism.com. It is a free gift for you. When you download that book, it'll also have you sign up for my weekly newsletter, so you'll get more tips like this. There's content I put out only for the subscribers of my list, right? There's webinars that I do. There's things that you get. Maybe you can find them on my YouTube channel. There's hundreds of videos like this, but there's things you'll only get if you're on my list. So even if you're like, well, my child's doing great in school and I don't need to talk to my teachers, download it anyway, because you'll get on my list and then you'll get that amazing content. So have an amazing week. I will be here next week with another strategy to help your family.